on the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Well, seeing how this is February, the month of romance based around a saint that your uniquely lazy ass will never bother to research, I think we should dedicate this enchanted time of year to the month of love. And what better way to start off this month of love than the love one gives to a child? No, and your jacuzzi of barbed wire in hell is waiting for you. No, I'm talking about the love from parent to child as demonstrated in The Odd Life of Timothy Green. This is the story about a couple who can't have a child until one magically appears in the backyard and shows them the quirks and whimsy of what it means to be a parent. Now granted, a lot of people didn't like this film when it first came out. In fact, many declared they'd rather pass a marble bag of kidney stones. But I'm sure such an innocent story couldn't have anything that horrible in it. How bad could something like this possibly be? Something so adorable and lovable and cute and absolutely charming. My apologies to the neighbor's cat. It's just, after seeing a film that was so cat-killingly bad, I had no choice but to destroy the nearest living creature. I mean, wow. Wow! God, Jesus, wow! Heaven above, Lord, shit, fuck, wow! This film is horrendous! I mean, it's god-awful! I could rip into this shit storm so much that... That's exactly what I'm gonna do! This is the odd, terribly disturbed life of Timothy Green. I'm sorry, Waffles. The film opens with a couple played by Jennifer Garner and Joel Edgerton, who are filling out the paperwork to apply for adopting a child.
Oh, wait. You didn't answer what makes you qualified.
Oh, we know. There wasn't much space.
We had so much to say.
Okay. Idiots. Word of advice. If your reasoning wouldn't work on your second grade teacher, chances are it wouldn't work on the United States adoption services. I mean, really? There wasn't enough space? That's what you're going with? Imagine using that excuse somewhere else in life. Here's my test, Mrs. Travers.
You failed to answer every single question listed.
I know. I just had so much information I could put down for all of them, I decided not to.
I'm sorry, that means you get an F.
As in, fantastic.
No, as in failed.
As in failed not to be fantastic.
No, as in you failed the test.
As in I failed the test of not failing the exam you so currently gave to me.
Why are you still here?
I need a mommy. So they convinced the adoption agency to listen to their story about why there wasn't enough space.
You're gonna find it hard to believe. This all began last September.
It turns out the doctors say that Garner is unable to get pregnant, which forces them to drive back to Stanleyville, the pencil capital of the world. Ooh. Oh, and I'm not kidding. They really want you to remember that Stanleyville is the pencil capital of the world. They show countless footage of pencils being made. They have a soccer team called the Erasers. Edgerton works for a pencil factory. Garner is a tour guide in a museum dedicated to pencils. By the time the movie is over, you want to eat the goddamn things. But our couple doesn't seem to have much of an appetite, as they're still heartbroken about Garner being as unfruitful as their vegetable garden.
I can't do it. I can't move on.
Then move out of the way.
For years, we've been thinking about what our kid would have been like. We can move on tomorrow, just for tonight. Can we have a kid?
You know, this might sound like a fucking radical idea, but why not an orphanage? Yeah, a little weird seeing how the film opens up with them at the orphanage. So it's not like this never crossed their minds. If having a child meant so much to you, why didn't you just do that before? Were they afraid that something like Timothy might actually come to life and therefore have to turn another child down?
Are my new parents nice?
They certainly are, and they're gonna give you a good home.
Oh, yay! I can't wait to have a real mom and dad.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It says here that they've thrown a child in the backyard and it's absolutely perfect in every way, in which case they don't have any need for you anymore.
No need?
None. I'm sorry. I know it's the third time this month.
Man, fuck this shit. I'm 18, I'm still not adopted.
But they decide to fantasize for just one night, and thus, the Build-A-Kid workshop is open.
Would our kid be musical?
Our kid would rock.
Love and be loved.
How great an athlete are you picturing?
You were terrible at soccer.
Our kid, amazing kid, got to score the winning goal.
Okay, could you not show how in tune you are in such a loud, scary way? So they put their drawings of butt vaginas in a box and buried in the backyard, convinced they can now move on with their lives. But then... So we get our first look at Children of the Corn, who has leaves on his ankles and apparently is thoroughly convinced that he has always belonged to this couple.
Call us Mr. and Mrs. Green.
Mr. Green.
Not many people do, but...
Mom. Really? Dad.
So, of course, they have to fill out a report or go to the police or put out posters saying missing child.
Is he for us?
I'm getting that feeling.
Kidnapping works too. I'm always shocked how many people don't consider that option. I mean, when you look past the whole illegal and emotionally scarring thing, it's actually pretty logical. You know, you can turn them into the authorities, guys. It's not like E.T. They have walkie-talkies now instead of guns. Oh, wait. They changed it back in the DVD version, didn't they? Run, Timmy, run! So Garner's sister shows up the next day, and our new parents try to explain the appearance of our little friend.
It was all very sudden and kind of miraculous.
I mean, I thought you were trying to have a real kid.
Let's add her to the list of horrible pieces of human shit in this film. Trust me, the list will grow. In fact, there's one right now, Edgerton's father, who apparently spent most of his time away from his son, who has resented him ever since. But Timmy hopes he can win his grandfather over with a trailer shot. Ah yes, he must be doing this because he's a plant, and therefore basking when the sun comes out. Except for the fact that the sun was clearly out several other times before, but the cameraman wasn't ready for his 360 shot yet. His grandfather acts accordingly.
Oh! What did you say to your father after he bunked the boy with leaves in the head?
Complicated.
I didn't say anything.
Really?
And yes, the adoption agency is still listening to the story and allowing them to continue. Because if I ran an adoption agency, I'd say to myself, yeah, this is worth my valuable time, not turning these people away and instead looking for parents who don't think the Cabbage Patch Kids are based on a true story. I'd listen to. I can only imagine what that guy's writing down on his notepad the whole time.
We're all working hard, I know.
Oh, thank God, we almost took the focus of this movie away from pencils.
Worst case scenario, my aunt and my father will have no choice but to close the factory.
But Edgerton is called away from the pencil pushers as it appears Timmy has been beaten up at school.
This kind of thing happened to me when I was your age.
Yeah.
And all I wanted was for my dad to have my back. And he didn't.
Bottom line, as long as you come out of this with a healthy hatred of your grandfather, I'll consider myself a good father. But, oh, it turns out the father of those bullies is actually his boss. Wah, wah.
Kid ratted my boys out. Are you really gonna fight all his battles for him? You think that's wise?
Why can't you be like me and let my kids get away with murder?
Next Saturday, we're having a birthday party pool bash, and we'd love it if Timothy would come.
Yes! Oh, please, don't tell me. You took him back to the house of the boys who bullied him?
He really wanted to go.
So you let him decide what was best?
I thought it was time he learned to fight his own battles.
We just forgot to ask if he could swim.
And you're probably starting to see what the main problem with this movie is. Not the fact that they're telling a story that nobody not kicked by a horse could believe, or that they live in a town with more inbred jerks than a TLC show. Though don't get me wrong, those are great things to hate. But the parenting in this movie is awful. I mean really, really awful. They're trying to tell the story to show how much they've learned, but all we ever see is them constantly acknowledge that they always make the wrong choices. How is that going to win him over?
We were going to have the talk that we didn't really know how to have.
That was the plan, the talk.
And here's another little annoying tidbit they do a lot in this movie. The couple completes their sentences a little too often.
Everything had changed.
And there he was, leaves and all.
It didn't matter where he came from.
He was ours.
Yeah, we were his.
We were a family.
We were a family.
And when I say a little too often, I mean all the fucking time.
How do you tell your child something's not possible?
That it can't be done.
When they believe in you like that.
Well, we didn't want to disappoint him.
No, we got busy.
I'm sure, again, this is to show how in tune they are, but it's pretty obnoxious. I mean, they just never stop doing it. I love once to see a couple complete each other's sentences without getting right what the other was going to say. It didn't matter where he came from.
He was ours.
We were his.
We were a family.
It was the greatest day since
he discovered Viagra.
That wasn't what...
A penis should look like, until he started taking it.
Maybe if you let me finish.
He would say all the time, but nothing ever came out.
I don't think we should talk about this.
Without visuals.
Jesus Christ!
He would cry every night until I showed him the online ads.
Damn it, honey, this is already hard enough!
What's the name of the brand we got?
This is...
Why we can't have children.
Can we just go back to talking about the child that we grew in the backyard? I think we are winning over much better with that. Right? What's with the straight face? Oh, and just to make things better, let's throw prepubescent lust into the mix.
I think one of my stems is beginning to grow.
I'm guessing that's the mating dance of mulch. Timmy seems to stay underwater for a while, and since the world's greatest parents are nowhere to be found, the girl dives in after him, ultimately discovering Timmy's little secret.
Nobody touches the leaves, bitch!
You saw right, folks. Sweet innocent Timmy kicked a girl he has a crush on right dab in the schnauzer. Sheesh, kid, when they said fight your own battles, they didn't mean underwater flash kicks. And speaking of fighting your own battles, what advice do Mom and Dad of the Year have to give?
What do I do about the girl I kicked in the head?
Tim? Well, if you see her coming, just run the other way.
Hey kids, let's play a game. It's called Politicians. 1 second I'll say one thing and then another moment I'll say something totally different.
I thought it was time he learned to fight his own battles. Just run the other way. I thought it was time he learned to fight his own battle. Just run the other way. Fight his own battle. Run the other way. Fight his own battle. Run the other way.
Now let's play another game. It's called Start Making Sex, you fucking tools! But she takes the whole having leaves on his ankle thing unrealistically well, as it turns out she has a jelly stain in the shape of Wisconsin on her chest. So I guess that means they have something in common. Of course, her secret is minor and pedestrian, where he is a living abomination of nature. But we have to have something for this forced romance to go off of.
Look out your window. You told him to run the other way when he saw her, and he's not running.
But Timmy's parents don't like this at all, because I have no fucking idea. We don't know a thing about her, she's done nothing wrong, and yet they advise Timmy to constantly stay away from her.
There are so many girls.
It would be a mistake to focus on just one fish.
What we're trying to say, son, is stay away from the girl we know nothing about. Exploring her differences could only get in the way of isolating her more. Ugh, this movie's too hard to watch, and I need a break. We'll be right back after these people try to sell you something.